Good evening, East Alabama. This is the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts. We welcome you in on this Tuesday afternoon. We have got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be recapping the second round of the baseball state playoffs. You're going to hear from the winning coaches from Oxford, Coach Travis Janssen, the winning coach from Alexandria, Zac Welch, winning coach from Westbrook Christian, Jerry Windle, and the winning coach from Coosa Christian, Dewayne Boyd. So you'll hear from all four of those coaches. You'll hear from two Oxford Yellow Jacket players. You'll hear from Trip Patterson from Alexandria, and that is what we have in store for you guys today. As always, though, we do start our show with our EAN scoreboard, so we're going to get right into the action. Area softball tournaments are taking place. Got to be wrapped up in the next day or so. There are a couple that did get wrapped up yesterday. This one did not, though. It got started. It was senior night for Alexandria. Presley Slayton only gave up one hit, had 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. Home runs from Christian Hess and Caden Pritchett helped put Alexandria in the area championship game and clinched a spot in regionals. They will play tonight against the winner of Central Clay in Lincoln. And you got to have a big game offensively to score 15 runs. Yeah, Hess had an inside-the-park home run. Alyssa Hunt was 2 for 3 with a double, 2 runs and 3 RBIs. Charlie Paris had a double and 3 RBIs. Slayton, who we talked about, went 2 for 2 with a double, a run, and 2 RBIs. Brindley Sparks doubled, had an RBI. Clancy Bryant had a single and RBI. And Callie Hess was 2 for 2 with a double and a run as Alexandria won on senior night in the area tournament 15-0. Also yesterday, White Plains, they got their area tournament started, and it was a big day for White Plains, and they got a big win over Jacksonville 11-0. Layton Arnold pitched a perfect game. How about that? Did not give up a walk or a hit, had 11 strikeouts in 5 innings. Callie Richardson was 3 for 3, had a home run, a double, 3 runs, and 3 RBIs. Carly Fritz was 2 for 3 with a double, a run, and 2 RBIs. Adams and Brayton Moran each had a double and 2 RBIs. Smith added a double and RBI. As White Plains is in the area championship game, and they will be moving on to regionals as they get the win over Jacksonville 11-0. Also yesterday, these teams have played some great games here of late. It was another great game last night as the Piedmont Bulldogs, they got the win 3-1 over Weaver in the area championship game. And it's tough to go against Kinley Fulmer of Weaver. She is one of the best pitchers in the state in Class 3A. And this one was a 3-1 game, which followed up their 1-0 game the day before. Again, another pitcher's duel, it seems that way. Piedmont, though, did break out in the 5th inning. Alyssa Mathis had an RBI single. Kayla Brothers had a sacrifice bunt. And Savannah Smith had an RBI single. And ultimately, that was what did it for Piedmont. The MVP of this tournament was Savannah Smith. Also, all-tournament team was Carson Young, Kayla Brothers, and Casey Brothers. For Weaver, Kinley Fulmer, McKenna Holmesley, and Peyton Marvesty made the all-area tournament. You also had Welborn and Sachs players as well. But Piedmont, area champions, as they both teams advanced to regionals, but Piedmont's the one out of this area as they win 3-1. Also yesterday in Class 2A, Coach Bryant's team got the win 15-0 over Woodland. Gracie Ward went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles, 2 runs, and 3 RBIs. Madison Cromer doubled with 3 RBIs. Kaylee Almerode was 2 for 3 with a run and an RBI. Lily Robinson doubled and had an RBI. They got a single and an RBI from Cranmer, Aubie Cromer, Henry, Jordan Cheatwood, Cranmer, Aubie Cromer, and Henry. They scored 3 runs apiece, by the way. That's a lot. Well, Coach O'Brien's team is area champions. They advance for regionals as they get the win over Woodland 15-0. The final score from yesterday, unfortunately for Coach Kendall Pozo Hatch Indians, they did not make the area championship game, but Glencoe did, but much of it stayed the same, which meant, well, Hoax Bluff did what Hoax Bluff does, and that is win softball games. They had a lot of success in this area this year. They finished off in a strong way as Hoax Bluff and Glencoe both advanced to regionals, but Hoax Bluff wins the area 10-0. That is all of our softball action from area tournaments yesterday. Some continue tonight. We'll have more on that tomorrow as well. Speaking of tomorrow, guys, we are going to have a great show tomorrow. We're going to have highlights of the Donahoe Falcons ladies soccer team's first round state playoff game, which is right now, just a little bit. About an hour from now, I'm going to leave here, the studio, go up to the mountain, and get highlights of that game as Donahoe's at home tonight hosting Altamont, and we'll have highlights of that game tomorrow on the Locker Room. Also tomorrow, we're going to have some youth baseball highlights in our local area. So remember, send us those highlights. You can message our Facebook page at East Alabama Now. You can send us an email at eansports23@gmail.com, and we would love to use those highlights. Hey, as always, make sure to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page so that you do not miss the Locker Room. We're here every weekday, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Also, our East Alabama Now news is tonight at 6:30 p.m. Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards have your local news. John Holder has your local weather, and I bring you your sports. Hey, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk Etowah Gadsden area baseball. We're going to talk about the Coosa Christian Conquerors and the Westbrook Christian Warriors. Both of them advanced to the state quarterfinals. Both of them are playing this week. We have more on both of these. We'll hear from their coaches in just a minute as we continue on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy. I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the Locker Room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, or luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston. You can pick out what you like, want, and need, and they can do it right there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Welburn Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the Locker Room. We continue on this Tuesday afternoon. We are recapping the second round of the state baseball playoffs and also previewing the third round of the state baseball playoffs, which officially means we have hit the quarterfinals. Now, there are some games getting started tomorrow. Westbrook Christian will play tomorrow. Alexandria will play tomorrow. For Coosa and Oxford, they will hit the field on Thursday. But we're going to start in Class 1A and talk more about Dewayne Boyd's Coosa Christian Conquerors, who are in the state quarterfinals for a second year in a row. Let's take a look at how they did against Addison, who they played in the second round of the state playoffs. Coosa traveled to Addison. Their game one starter was John David Justice. He pitched 7 innings for Coosa Christian, gave up only 3 hits, 1 earned run. He had 8 strikeouts and only 1 walk. Brody Nelson had a double with a run, scored an RBI. Edwards had an RBI. Cleto Bryant had a hit and a stolen base. Radley May scored a run, knocked in a single. Keith Johnson had an RBI. Addison starter Lake went 7 innings but took the loss for the Bulldogs. Lake gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs with 3 strikeouts and a walk. Tally had 2 hits with a run scored and a stolen base. In Game 2 for Coosa, it was Nelson who got the start, went 7 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, gave up 6 hits, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts. That is unbelievable. Edwards had a hit and had scored a run. John David Justice had 2 doubles, 2 runs scored, and an RBI. Gladden had 2 hits with a double and an RBI. Brian Johnson had a hit. Mays had a hit, scored 2 runs. Keith Johnson had a hit, also scored an RBI. It was a big game for Coosa Christian to go on the road, and they got the win, of course, over Addison. For Addison, they started Thompson in Game 2. He gave up 6 runs, 10 hits, and 4 strikeouts. And it has to be said that Thompson gave Addison 7 strong innings. But needless to say, it was Coosa Christian that gets the sweep over Addison. They win Game 1 right there in Game 2. They sweep the series. We caught up with the head coach of the Coosa Christian Conquerors, Coach Dewayne Boyd, where he talked more about getting the sweep on the road over Addison.
It was a big sweep for our guys, man. Anytime you go on the road, different place in the playoffs, to take two is huge. And our guys, man, they responded well after having that, that split at home, going on the road, taking two, and then was not able to go back the next day. So that's huge. Addison, give them a lot of credit. That coach does a good job. They didn't have a senior on the team. They competed well. They hit the ball well, and we just were a little bit better that day. But things could have went either way. I mean, there were some plays that we made that they messed up. We had 3 picks in game 1 that really changed the outcourse of the game. And then game 2, it was back and forth. But our Brody Nelson, our number 2, did a good job at 13 strikeouts and kind of limited the damage at the end. And big hits from Keith Johnson, Ren Gladden to keep us, to get that extra run. That second game was huge and was able to seal the deal. So no discredit to them, man. Guys this year just been resilient all year long. We're 16-20, which I don't look at the record. Don't matter about the record, but I played a very tough schedule in the season to prepare us for moments that's coming up, and our guys are resilient. And they work their butts off, and they don't give in, don't give out, don't give up, don't give in, for what's coming.
With Coosa Christian advancing to the state quarterfinals, that means that the bracket resets in terms of their next 2 opponents. Potentially, of course, it's got to win and survive. But Coosa Christian this week will be at home in the state quarterfinals, where they will host the defending, reigning, undisputed Class 1A state champions Appalachian, who won it last year. A good friend of mine, John Cade Robertson, coaches for Appalachian. Coach Dewayne Boyd certainly been a great host to us the past 2 weeks when we've stopped by. So going to be a great game at a great series, I should say, at Coosa Christian. So the Conquerors are at home this week against Appalachian. The winner of Coosa Christian and Appalachian will advance to the state semifinals, where they will be looking at either Hackleburg or Summerton Christian. I do have to say Summerton Christian has been playing some great baseball. And it's kind of funny. These were the same 4 teams a year ago, except Coosa Christian played Hackleburg and Appalachian played Summerton Christian. So it's kind of funny how that happened. So will it be Appalachian and Summerton again, or will it be Hackleburg and Appalachian again, or will Coosa Christian or Summerton Christian have something to say about that? We will see. But we did ask Coach Dewayne Boyd, about Appalachian. Here's his thoughts on not only this series, but playing at home in the state quarterfinals.
Yeah, Appalachian, man, it's going to be a good, I believe, a really good series. Obviously they're the reigning 1A state champs. Coach Johnson does a phenomenal job. I have a lot of respect for him as a coach. He gets his team prepared and ready to go. They're a team that knows how to win. They're a team that's going to come in and give everything that we want. So we know it's going to be a good matchup. But like I've said before, and I'll say it again, our guys are resilient, and I trust and believe in our guys, number one. So I think it's going to come down at the end of the day who hits the ball, who pitches the best, who don't make limits the mistakes. Because in this deep in the playoffs, you got to limit your mistakes, and so it's going to be a fun series. And also, not only that, it's being at home. Being a home special third round. I think this is the first time in Coosa Christian history we've ever hosted a third round quarterfinals at our place. So we're excited about it. We're hoping for a big crowd, hoping for a good turnout, and I think it's going to get loud, man. I just got to give credit to God, and I always try to do that in a way. God's been good to us. He's blessed us this year, and we're so proud of our guys and proud of this program, this school, this team. We're looking to hopefully have a good series, and we'll go from there. So we thank God for all He does for us.
Good luck to the Coosa Christian Conquerors in the state quarterfinals against Appalachian. Let's shift to Class 3A. Coach Jerry Windle's Westbrook Christian Warriors went on the road to Colbert County this past week and not only won, but swept the series in 2 games as they advance to the state quarterfinals. So let's go ahead and take a deeper look at that Westbrook Christian and Colbert County series. Westbrook Christian took game 1 2-0. And in that game 1, 5 Westbrook players got a hit. Brody Johnson got a hit, scored a run. Brody Blevins got a hit. Dylan Rainey went 1 for 2 with a hit, walk, and an RBI. Brady Carden scored a run. Jacob Maples had a hit and an RBI. Cameron Carden had a hit. Dylan Rainey pitched a complete game shutout with 10 strikeouts as Westbrook Christian got the 2-0 win. In Game 2, Brody Blevins got a hit and scored a run. Brady Carden went 2 for 3 with a run and an RBI. Jacob Maples had a hit and a walk. William Chadwick drew a walk. Noah Wright had a perfect day at the plate, went 3 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Bo Kilgo got a hit RBI and scored a run. Cameron Carden drew a walk. Braden Kay pitched a complete game for Westbrook Christian, giving up only 4 hits, 2 runs, and striking out 10 batters. Between Dylan Rainey and between Braden Kay, if you take Braden Kay and Dylan Rainey, they had 20 strikeouts combined in 2 games. That is a pretty good number for Coach Jerry Windle's team. We caught up with the head coach of the Westbrook Christian Warriors, Coach Jerry Windle, where he talked more about the sweep over Colbert County.
So, going to Colbert County last week, they were a really good team. They really pitched it well, maybe even a bit better than what we expected going in. Their number 1 guy, Dolan, stayed around the plate. I don't recall, maybe he walked 1 or 2 in that, but he mixed speeds. He moved the ball in and out. Kind of gave us some problems. We didn't make some adjustments, but Dylan Rainey pitched really well. We played great defense that game. Dylan pitched well enough to keep it in. We were able to scrap some runs across and produce some runs and get some jobs done. But I was super impressed with our defense too. We made some plays at some critical times to keep us right where we needed to be, and we swung it well enough. Game 2, I thought they pitched it well in game 2 as well too. Great pitching performance out of Braden Kay. We made 2 or 3 errors in that game that kept him from getting a shutout, 10 strikeouts, and he really pitched well and allowed us to stay in the game. Now, the score doesn't reflect this, and I think we maybe had 7 or 8 hits that game, but we really barreled up some baseballs. That their outfield played fantastic. We hit some rockets right at them in the outfield. So our approach changed. We maybe relaxed a little bit. That's tough. I mean, for a bunch of young guys to go and play on the road. Colbert County had a great atmosphere to play in a tough environment and to go kind of scrap it out. We were able to continue to kind of work towards that towards the end of the second game and push the runs across we needed. So again, I was super impressed with Colbert County, but really proud of our guys for being scrappy and competitive and figuring it out.
With that win over Colbert County in the second round of the state playoffs, Westbrook Christian advances to the state quarterfinals. Westbrook Christian will be at home this week where they will host Fayette County. Fayette County has been playing on fire. Knocked off Decatur Heritage in the first round of the playoffs, knocked off Piedmont in the second round. Now they make the trip to Westbrook Christian this week. The winner of Westbrook Christian and Fayette County will advance to the state quarterfinals, where they will be looking at traditional Lauderdale County, who typically makes the quarterfinals most years, or they'll be looking at the defending team that came out of course, the North, which is Gordo, who made the state championship a year ago. So it's going to be a tough task for Westbrook or Fayette County, but this week Westbrook Christian does get Fayette County at home. Here's Coach Jerry Windle talking more about playing at home, but also sizing up the competition, which this week is Fayette County.
So we are home this week, which is a blessing, and I'm excited for the boys to be able to have that. Also for our fans. I mean, we have such a great support here with Westbrook Christian, just in all our sports. But that's going to be a lot of fun. Be able to play round 3 here at home. As far as an advantage, I think just more of anything, the boys being able to stay in their normal routine. When they leave class and what we do pregame and those type things. So just that level of comfortability. On the field, I don't know. Fayette's a really good team. All facets. They have great play approaches. They've got really good arms that can keep you honest and keep you off balance. They play good defense. They're a very well-coached team. Obviously, it seems like they're really hot right now. They beat 2 really good teams moving it. They play in a tough area, number 1, but they and kind of scrap through that. They beat 2 really good teams getting to the third round. They're a seasoned group of guys. I think they start 8 seniors or something like that, who have been there, done that, mature mentally, physically too. So it's going to be a dogfight for us. What we've talked about with our boys, we feel like we're undefeated in preparation. And so we really focus on that week to week. We're continuing to focus on that week to week, just being who we are really and sharpening that, continuing to do things the way that we do them, but then maybe being prepared for some of the things that Fayette County's really good at. And then, gosh, what I want for our guys is to go out, be where they are, like enjoy the moment, but go and just compete their tails off. Like, let's just be the best competitors there are out there. And then when you get to the quarterfinals and beyond, I mean, you're playing good teams, people that can play the game, are coached well. So we know that's what we're getting in Fayette County, and hopefully that's what we show up and do, is we just go and compete and do what we do best, be what Westbrook baseball is all about.
Good luck to the Westbrook Christian Warriors in the state quarterfinals. I hope to be talking about them again next week. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk Calhoun County baseball. You're going to hear from Zac Welch of Alexandria, Travis Janssen of Oxford. You'll hear from some players from both teams as we continue on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy.
I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
We continue on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. Just want to remind you again to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page so that you do not miss anything that East Alabama Now brings to you. Hey, we're going to pick back up talking about the second round of the state baseball playoffs here in East Alabama, and we're going to talk about the Alexandria Valley Cubs. The Alexandria Valley Cubs went on the road this past week and defeated Lawrence County in 2 games. So let's dig deeper into that series and see how Alexandria did. Well, they knocked them off in 2 games. In the first game, Andrew Allen had another strong performance, struck out 9 batters, allowed 3 runs. 2 of those were earned on 5 hits and 4 walks. He pitched 6 1/3 inning. Samuel Henniger closed out the game, getting the last 2 outs. The Valley Cubs had home runs from Aiden Bruner, Bray Good, Samuel Henniger, and Eli Barnes. They all had a great game. And then in Game 2, Trip Patterson was outstanding on the mound. He struck out 14 batters, only gave up 1 hit. He walked 3, but he obviously kept those from getting to home plate. Offensively, Ian Cartwright was 2 for 3 with an RBI. Ty Brown drove in a run, going 1 for 2 at the plate. Evan Snow was 2 for 2 in that game. Lawrence County's only hit came from Noah Dutton. Alexandria got the win 10-3 in Game 1 and 2-0 in Game 2. We talked to Zac Welch, of course, at Alexandria about going to Lawrence County, which is a tough place to play, a place that Alexandria's played out before. And, this week, let's go ahead and we're going to take a look at the bracket real quick and look at kind of where things stand for Alexandria after getting the win over Lawrence County. So since Alexandria got the win over Lawrence County, here it is. The big game that everybody has been talking about since the beginning of the season. Sardis returning basically almost the whole team. Alexandria, arguably the best 1-2 punch. Sardis, the best 1 through 9 lineup. This is the game that people have said is the state championship before the state championship. Now, no disrespect to Russellville and Springville on the other side, because, of course, the winner of Sardis and Alexandria is still going to have to go through one of them before they even get the opportunity to play for a state championship. But all eyes are on Sardis and Alexandria. There's going to be over 1,000 people that are at this game tomorrow night. Matter of fact, East Alabama Now will be making the trip to Sardis tomorrow night to get highlights of this game. But we talked with Zac Welch, of course, about playing Sardis. We talked with him about playing Lawrence County. And I asked him, how much does playing at Lawrence County last week prepare you to make that trip to Sardis this week?
I think it prepares us a tremendous amount. The city of Moulton really did a good job of putting together a good playoff atmosphere. And playoff baseball in Alabama is really when the crowds get big, the weather gets nice, the grass gets to growing, everybody's looking to be outside, and it's a great excuse to do that. These small towns and communities really get behind the baseball teams. So I don't think you get into these big atmospheres until the playoffs. Last year we went into ARAB into a very raucous environment, and I thought we handled it well, and I thought that experience really prepared us to go to Lawrence County this year. And I thought Lawrence County was a great precursor to the environment we're about to step into at Sardis. Sardis. So I know the people in Sardis are fired up and ready to come out and support.
I do apologize for the wind right there. It was a little bit of a windy day out at the field, but needless to say, I'll tell you who's been dominant, Trip Patterson. He's been as dominant as any pitcher in the state of Alabama. Perfect game in round one, only one hit in game two. I just asked Trip to tell me a little bit about the Lawrence County series and him only giving up one hit.
It was a good win for the team. We went down there, won 2 games. The defense was playing well. The bats are rolling right now, and it's just easy to have confidence on the mound when our team's playing well.
He's a very humble guy with very few words. He is very good when it comes to competing on the mound, though. We talked with Coach Welch again about the Sardis series. This is the matchup that everybody has been talking about all season long, and it's finally here. We finally got it. Both teams put themselves in this position. Well, here's Coach Zac Welch with more on playing Sardis in the state quarterfinals.
You know, this week we try to make it just like any other week. We try to keep our same schedule as far as practice goes. And, you know, Sardis is a great opponent, and we're looking forward to the competition. But ultimately, I think it boils down to us and how we play. Are we prepared? Do we do what we're supposed to do in the tight spots? 5 or 6 plays will probably impact the outcome of the game, and we're not sure which 5 or 6 they are. The question will be, can we make them? Do they make them? Do we make an error that affects the outcome? Do we make a big play that builds momentum? Baseball's funny like that. When we saw the brackets come out in June, we kind of knew that this series was probably going to take place. So we've had it in the back of our mind, but it hasn't been something that we've really looked at because we've had to just take it one day at a time, one game at a time. And throughout the season, it's been good, it's been bad. So we'll just try to take all the experiences that we've had throughout the year and try to play our best baseball come Wednesday.
For Alexandria, you heard Coach Zac Welch a couple minutes ago talk about that experience of playing on the road at Lawrence County. I talked with, I would say arguably their ace right now. I know Andrew Allen's the game one starter, and he certainly is good as well. But Trip Patterson, a perfect game in round one, a one-hitter in round two. That is a lot to talk about. For Trip, I asked him to talk a little bit about that environment at Lawrence County and also how much he felt like that prepared them to make that road trip to Sardis this week.
Lawrence County was a good environment. There were some people out in the outfield chatting a little at us, and I think that'll help us just going forward this week at Sardis. We just got to play our game. We know if we go out there and play how we've been playing lately that we can beat anyone.
All right, the Alexandria Valley Cubs advance to the state quarterfinals where they will travel to Sardis this week. A win over Sardis, they would come back home on Tuesday and host the winner of Russellville and Springville. Nobody is shocked to see Alexandria in the state quarterfinals, and nobody is shocked to see the Oxford Yellow Jackets in the state quarterfinals. Coach Travis Janssen, his first season, has put them right back where they were just 1 year ago, and that is playing Mountain Brook in the state playoffs. But let's talk about how Oxford got there. Oxford had to go on the road to Buckhorn and win. They had to win at least 2 out of 3 games. Well, they did that in the first 2. So let's dig deeper into this series and look at how Oxford got it done. Oxford won game 1 7-4 and game 2 7-3. Kanan Whitman was the MVP of game 1. He hit a home run offensively, got the win on the mound out of relief. Game 2 was headlined by Forrest Heacock's grand slam. Then, of course, Carter Johnson and Gavin Griner helped pace Oxford on the mound. Oxford has now not lost a postseason game in 2 years. They scored 7 runs in both games. We caught up with the head coach of the Oxford Yellow Jackets, Coach Travis Janssen, where he talked about the offense scoring 7 runs in both games.
Yeah, so the way I would describe the offense is our plate discipline was really, really good. And in playoff baseball, it's good to be able to control your at-bats and not be too excited. And we drew a ton of walks. I think in the first game we drew 13, and then the second game we drew another handful. And second game was really competitive. It was a 3-2 game, and then Forrest came up in the bottom of the 6th and hit a grand slam to make it 7-2. So we got the runs there late, and that allowed everybody to relax a little bit. And so offensively, how I would describe it is we did a nice job situational hitting. We did a nice job of when guys got out there, we did a good job of moving guys around, and the offense was really, really solid, and it was the type of offense you have to have in playoff baseball.
Oxford has some talented players, and Nick Richardson is certainly one of those. We talked with Nick Richardson more about the Buckhorn series. Here he is giving his thoughts on the sweep.
I think we did a good job pitching and hitting wise. We just did a good job overall, the whole team, I think. We really did well.
Pretty right to the point for Nick Richardson. Hey, one guy, though, that's been really good and came up in a couple of different big spots this season is Judd Sire. And I talked with Judd Sire more about kind of the message of this team. They're going to be playing at home this week against Mountain Brook, a big series. I asked Judd to tell me a little bit about what the team's message is right now.
It's always been the message that if we just play our ball, then we'll be fine. And I think that's going to be how it is from here on out. If we play and just do us, we'll be just fine.
Oxford will play Thursday at home against Mountain Brook. The whole city of Oxford is essentially shutting down as it should. This is a big series. Ask Coach Travis Janssen. Obviously, it was Westbrook's last year playing Mountain Brook in the playoffs. This year, it's Travis Janssen. I asked Coach Janssen to give me his thoughts on Mountain Brook and his thoughts on being at home in the state quarterfinals.
Well, you know, we haven't gotten too deep into them yet. We are going to spend some time and try to learn about them a little bit. And so we don't know a whole lot about them, so I don't want to give you an answer with a bunch of fluff. But the message is, as those two players just said, is, you know, we really try to stick with the fundamentals, stick with our guys, you know, just make sure our guys are in a good place. And it doesn't mean we don't do our homework on our opponent, because we certainly do, but there's more emphasis on making sure the guys are in a good place mentally and you know, relaxed and ready to play. So Coach Gann, I've known his name and known him for a long, long time, since back when I was at Jacksonville State. We have a mutual friend / mentor in Coach Case, and so I obviously think a ton of him and think a ton of their program, and we're excited for the opportunity.
Coach Gann does a great job at Mountain Brook. Obviously, hoping that he can get his team over the hump. They are going to have to come to Oxford, though, which is a tough place to play. I don't know if you noticed Nick Richardson's head. He's got a buzz cut. If you watched Oxford play in the playoffs, you'll notice a couple players with a buzz cut. I had to figure out what this whole buzz cut thing was about. Some teams dye their hair blonde, pink. I've seen a lot of different things. Some teams get buzz cuts. For Oxford, it's buzz cuts. So here's Nick Richardson telling us more about the buzz cuts that you'll see some of the Oxford players rocking.
Well, we all decided to do buzz cuts. 2 of us did it, and then it kind of just snowballed. I didn't want to do it, but kind of had no choice, got peer pressured. But yeah, everybody did it, so I had to do it.
Another one of those players that has a buzz cut is Judd Sire. But Judd Sire, a little fact about him, if you didn't know, is he was not a part of this team that won a state championship a year ago. He just decided to come back out his senior year and play baseball for Oxford. He's came up in some big moments. The county tournament's the first one that pops up in my mind, where he had that walk-off hit. So here's here's Judd Sire talking more about what it was that made him decide to come back out and play baseball his senior year.
So it was kind of controversial. I wasn't going to play for the first like 2 months, and then I decided to play, and it's been so much fun. I got to come out with all my friends and do a lot of winning, so it's been awesome.
Good luck to the Oxford Yellow Jackets in the quarterfinals this week against Mountain Brook. I sure hope to be talking more about them next week as well. Hey, that's going to do it for us. I got to get to Donahoe and get highlights of their first round soccer matchup against Altamont. We'll have more of that tomorrow. Other than that, I hope you all have a great afternoon. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.